All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go from the new Adelaide street circuit. Ellis Johnson and Harry Volsmere have the front row. Adam Barker, Nick Sorensen on the second row, Rudolph Gunther and Roman the Iceberg on the third row, although not in his lettuce paint scheme this week, sadly. Simon Zierk, Mike Marshall in the fourth row, Suleiman Khan, Bradley Lovings rounding out the top 10. David Garman returns in 11th. Yannick Gunther is back this week in 12th. Mike Dalling in 13th. Jason Starr in 14th. Brandon Banks, Jason Leonard 15th and 16th. Thomas Alderton in 17th. Barry Wehrman in 18th. Byron Debelow rounding out the 19-car field for race 1. All the drivers making those final setup adjustments and getting strapped in on the start-finish line. There you can see the track map for the street circuit. Several 90-degree turns. Things are going to get tight. Porsches may have an advantage there. Plus the hairpin right before the start-finish line is going to make things even more interesting, especially when we go to race 2. Race 2, they will have to make a pit stop, and that's when things will get dicey. Heck, as tight as this track is, pace laps could get interesting. Likely to see some single file through some of these tighter turns. Now, folks, remember, as soon as that Porsche pace car hits pit road, Ellis Johnson in control. He can fire at any moment. A lot of drivers are expecting lap 1 to get a bit spicy. Only the third week of the season, but still keeping a close eye on the points. Ellis Johnson, second in points, starts on the pole. Nick Sorensen, the points leader, starting in 4th. And Adam Barker has missed the first couple of weeks, is back in the car. Can the 9-time champ get 10 this season? He's got a bit of ground to make up. As we saw for Adam's first few championships, he does seem to pull a rabbit out of the hat, make some come-from-behind moves. Anything is possible. We're only in week number 3. A pace car will go to pit road right before Foster's turn, that final hairpin. And at that point, Ellis can fire. There goes the pace car. Side by side through the corner. Ellis is fired there, down and away, and the green flag flies at Adelaide. Through that first chicane, will we see any problems behind? Oh yes, Mike Marshall's in trouble. Suleiman Khan also caught up. Mike Marshall has towed it to pit road. Rough start to this one. Mike is a former amateur division champ. Jason Starr is now at a problem as we've got a battle for the lead. Harry is on the move. Yannick Gunther is going to pit road. Ellis holds off Harry for the moment. Looked like Ellis may have had a problem there. Saw a little bobble coming out of the turn. But he is back on it now. Ellis heads toward the final hairpin and onto the front straightaway. Harry already ducking underneath, but Ellis pulls ahead and will lead lap 1. And it has definitely been a wild first lap. And look at how split the field is right now. Let's see if we can take a look at some of these early incidents. All right, watching Mike Marshall in the Mercedes. Oh, I'm not sure. I think he may have gotten a tap from behind. A lot of tree cover. Let's see if the blimp caught it. Yep, a bit of a checkup. Bradley Lovings gets into him. Suleiman Khan just had nowhere to go. Mike bounces back out. Yannick catches a piece of it. Suleiman gets away undamaged. Then a moment later, Jason Starr has an issue. You see how much damage Yannick got? Wow, Jason just too much power and Yannick around. Hey, good morning, Count. Wessel, hate that you missed it. And Harry Volsmir has had a problem. He is taking it to pit road. There's Harry in the Audi. Just overshoots the turn. Parker catches a small piece. Wow. Doing good, Count. How are you doing this morning, buddy? Ellis already has a 2.6 second lead, but Nick Sorensen, the points leader, now up into second. Rudolph Gunther right behind in third, Barker in fourth. Barker does have the fastest lap so far, is the only driver under the 119 mark. Simon Zierk now in fifth. Bradley Lovings in sixth. Does not look like he has any damage to the Lambo after that incident with Mike Marshall. As we mentioned, Roman Burton on in his iceberg lettuce paint this week, sadly. David Gorman back in the car for the first time this season. He is up 3 spots into 8th. Mike Dolling up 4 spots into 9th. But Thomas Alderton, Barry Wehrman, and Byron Devereaux have managed to avoid chaos All three of them up 7 spots. Thomas in 10th, Barry in 11th, and Byron in 12th. Suleiman Khan having avoided Mike Marshall back to 13th. Brandon Banks currently in 14th. Jason Leonard in 15th. Jason Starr in 16th. Harry is back on track in 17th. Yannick Gunther back on track in 18th. And Mike Marshall back out in 19th. As Ellis set the fastest lap last time, 118.72. And he is opening up a gap on Nick Sorensen. Rudolph still holding on to third. The first time we've seen the Audi on track this week, both Adam and Harry running it. Sorensen just picked up a little bit of a slowdown. Trying to get it burned off over the next few turns. As we mentioned during pre-race, not a lot of places on this track that you can get a slowdown, but the ones you can, man, the track limits are pretty firm. Bradley Lovings has caught right up to Simon. Meanwhile, Ellis out front now has a 3-second lead over Nick. Rudolph Gunther is closing the gap at the moment. The difference about 1.7 seconds as Bradley Lovings has picked up a slowdown. As you can see in that turn, several places on the track, if you try and cut or exceed, there are obstacles to deter you from making the move. Ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th, all right there together. Suleiman Khan in 13th now, right there as well. I did hear this morning that McLaren this season is a little bit tail happy. Could be beneficial here on these tight turns, but also could be problematic getting on the power too quickly. And since it's a new track, let's hop on board with Byron as we go down the front stretch and across the start-finish line. Let's take a lap around in traffic down into turn one in that first chicane. Out of the turn on the power. Trying to make the move to the outside, didn't work. Now going to try it again on the outside in this 90-degree left. A series of tight 90-degree turns. Oh, a little bobble on power, but holds on to it. Down the long straightaway. Coming up through the gears, trying to carry as much speed as possible. little bit of a kink, back onto the power. Then hard onto the brakes, into the right-hander. Man, these turns are so tight and those walls will reach out and grab you if you get even a hair too close. There you see pit road entry, which will be tricky for race 2. And out of Foster's curve and down back across the start-finish line. Byron did that lap in 1:21.58, and Harry Volsmir has had a problem. He is going to pit road. There's Harry, was making some ground up. Trying to shoot to the inside on Barker, misses his braking point. Harry did manage to keep it out of the wall. So we may see him back out on track. Meanwhile, Ellis's lead is starting to shrink. Nick Sorensen now 2.4 seconds back. Rudolph was gaining on Sorensen earlier, but is now 2.5 seconds behind him. However, Barker 8.1 seconds behind. And David Garman has just taken 7th from Roman Berg. Counting up the numbers are the gap for behind the leader. And Ellis hitting that first chicane. A lot of the drivers talked about how tricky this track is, but this track was made famous by the supercars that raced here. Australian supercars are awesome to watch, but they lack a lot of the technology these GT3s have, making them harder to drive around here, but also very exciting. The drivers did say a lot of the officials this week were in the rain. Sadly, no rain gonna appear this morning. Top three's gap still staying pretty even. Bradley Loving's in 5th, is closing in on Adam Barker in 4th. Simon Zierk in 6th. Has David Garman about 2.2 seconds back. Garmy is closing in as well. Adam Barker has had a problem behind. Adam coming out of that first chicane. Oh, missed his braking point, overshoots. Loving slips by. Adam, though, unscathed. Don't worry, Count. If I wanted to, I could confuse you further. Myron Debelow now up into 10th, up 9 spots from where he started and closing in on Mike Doling. At the moment, Debelow the biggest mover of the morning. Oh! Until he has a problem coming out of the turn, gets into the wall and loses 3 spots in the blink of an eye. And Byron is going to pit road. That car must have more damage. Can't get a very good look at it. Byron hitting his pit stall for repairs. Harry Volsmere still sits on pit road. Simon Zierk now in 6th, but Garmin in 7th, even closer, just 1 1/4 seconds back. And the leader has picked up a slowdown coming through the first sector. He is actively trying to burn it off, but Nick Sorensen is getting closer. Ellis has led since the drop of the green flag, but that lead is shrinking rapidly. He has finally cleared the slowdown, but Nick now just a second behind. The top 2 in points now right there together. Wessel, you are correct. I do believe, I would have to check last season, but I do believe this would be Ellis's first win if he can hold Sorensen off. Adam Barker has made his way back up into 5th. Simon still holding on to 6th, Garmy in 7th. Bradley Loving's picked up a slowdown. And Barker is closing in. Ellis's lead now down to 7/10 of a second over Sorensen. Rudolph Gunther currently sits in 3rd. Now the question is, can the Lambo hold off the Porsche one more time? And don't forget, folks, going into race 2, the top 7 will invert, meaning as of now, Ellis will start in 7th. And Barney, the flagman, waves the white flag one more time around. The gap for the top 2, just over half a second. Oh, Simon shoots wide out of the final turn. Garmin even closer. And Suleiman Cohen has had a problem behind. Oh, Suleiman gets a little bump as they come out of the turn. And a little help into the tire wall. And it looks like there's a problem in the the final turn as the leaders are approaching. It was Suleiman, he has towed. And into the final turn, Ellis Johnson is gonna get it done. Wow. Ellis is gonna get it done and get his first ever NSS win. And don't forget, folks, we're going to race 2 here in a moment. I will do that, buddy. Man, what a finish, what a close battle. And let's see if we can talk to our top 3, starting with Rudolph Gunther. Rudolph, congratulations, back on the podium, a bit overdue this season.
Thanks, Doc. Yeah, it was great. Great start. I had the luck that I didn't get caught in the accident at the beginning. I got some damage, but that just it wasn't that bad. So yeah, I'm happy with the race.
Well, it's got to be great. You got Yannick back on track this morning as well. So Team Gunther about 2/3 full.
Yes, I'm glad that he was able to make it. Unfortunately, Max is still struggling with his schedule. So, well, we'll see when we will be back all together.
Well, man, great start to the morning. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Doc.
Rudolph Gunther comes home third. Nick Sorensen finishes in second. Nick on the podium and a heck of a run and a very close race there at the end.
Yeah, Ellis was doing some pretty good laps there. It was kind of a battle of who's going to make the least amount of mistakes. I know I had a couple on my own that put me a little bit behind, but I was glad to catch back up and make it close.
Well, it was definitely an eventful and exciting race, and man, you managed to stay out of trouble. That seemed to be the biggest thing this morning.
Yeah, these tight street circuits with walls close, it's kind of the name of the game. Just keep your car safe and get a good exit as you can.
Man, a great job and a heck of a run. I think you'll hold on to the points lead after this, but man, it's about to tighten up early in the season.
Yeah, some good drivers out today, so just get the best result I can.
Well, great job. Congratulations.
Thanks, Doug.
And finally, our winner, Ellis Johnson. Ellis, I was trying to remember, was that your first NSS win? I know it's your first win of the season.
First win of the season, I won Bathurst last season.
That's right, you dominated the crap out of Bathurst. I had forgotten about that. Man, that was a heck of a run. Only one slowdown, and that actually tightened things up and made it a little bit close there at the end.
A little scary that I lost so much time to that slowdown, but overall really fun. I'm looking forward to the second race.
Man, the second race, you obviously had the advantage starting first. Now you're going to have to come from 7th and work your way through traffic. Knowing how that first race went, how worried are you?
The first 2 laps are super worrying. I got to just avoid incidents, and then I think it's smooth sailing. Just head down, stay focused.
Well, man, a great job. Wessel said congratulations as well, and sorry he couldn't make it, but great job, buddy.
Oh, thank you, Wessel.
Ellis Johnson gets the win in race 1. Folks, 2.5 minutes away from race 2. Give us just a moment. We'll be back to talk to you in a second. I apologize for that, folks. I forgot to take an allergy pill this morning. And Australia makes me sneezy for some reason. Warm-up is winding down. Hey, good morning, Quack. Thank you, buddy. Looks like a lot of drivers practicing pit road entry here. There was a lot of talk in practice about that pit road entry. It is a wee bit tricky. It is nice to see Barker back in the Audi. And here we go for race 2. Hey, good morning, David. How are you? All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Race 2 from Adelaide. With the top 7 invert, David Gourmets and Simon Zierk have the front row. Adam Barker, Bradley Loving's on the second row. Rudolph Gunther, Nick Sorensen on the third row. Ellis Johnson and Roman Berg on the fourth row. Mike Dalling, Thomas Alderton rounding out the top 10. Barry Wehrman starting in 11th next to Brandon Banks in 12th. Jason Leonard in 13th. Jason Starr in 14th. That is Jason Rowe. Yannick Gunther in 15th. Mike Marshall in 16th. Suleiman Khan in 17th. Byron Debelow in 18th. And Harry Volsmere rounds out the field. Hey, good morning, Mark. Unfortunately, fortunately for me, the Doug Stang has not appeared today. If you watch the 3 Hours of Daytona Monday night, you know exactly what the Doug Stang is. That car is an abomination. All right, everybody out on track for the pace lap. The track is relatively cool this morning. A lot of trees around that are helping keep the track cool, down to 86 degrees track temperature, 78 degree air temperature. Does give the drivers a lot more grip, and man, they need it. And normally I would give Garmy a lot of grief for driving that car, but he does have the hashtag DIFA on it, so I kind of got to let it slide. Adam Barker, as we mentioned, back in the Hello Kitty Audi. It seems like all is right with the NSS world when Barker is in the Hello Kitty car. And yes, if you're curious, he does have a Hello Kitty paint for almost every single GT3. All right, as we mentioned during race 1, as soon as the pace car hits pit road, the leader can fire. Given this pit road entry, it makes things really interesting. Pace car is in, Gourmet in control. He fires it out of Foster's. They are away. Green flag in the air at Adelaide. And Barker took advantage. He's alongside for second. Will everybody make it through the first chicane? Bradley Lovins has had a problem. Jason Starr has had a problem. Byron Debelow got caught. And already 3 cars to pit road. No, Xander, the Doug Stang has not been seen since Monday, thankfully. And we've got a battle for the lead. Barker's going to take it. As Alderton has had a problem. And lap 1 of race 2 is getting a bit wild. We'll take a look at the replays here in just a moment. But it does look like Adam Barker through Foster's will lead lap 1. And Rudolph is on the attack. Rudolph Gunther battling Simon into the first chicane. He lets Simon go. And race 1 winner, Ellis Johnson, is right there. So is Sorensen. And Sorensen slips by Ellis. And now the top 2 in points battle it out on the streets of Adelaide. Ellis takes the spot back. Well, now that they have settled down for a moment, let's see if we can see what happened during lap 1. All right, Thomas Alderton was the first to have a... Oh, no, Bradley Lovings. He just pulls over coming across the start-finish line. Then a moment later, Jason Starr. Oh, Harry gives him a little bump. Wow. Jason does a 360, and Byron had nowhere to go. A lot of trees in this part of the track. There's the bump ahead. Byron almost avoided it, but just couldn't. Well, a wild lap 1. Thomas Alderton and Roman Berg both had problems as well. Let's take a quick look at those. There's Alderton in the Porsche. He dives it to the inside on Dolling. Oh, he overshot. Just lost some ground, but kept it out of the wall. Then Roman Berg in the purple Porsche. Oh, he overshot, got the wall, and I believe got into Mike Dolling. Oh, that could have been a lot worse. Roman did end up taking it to pit road after that incident. Nick Sorensen now up to 5th with Ellis in 6th. Sorensen with the fastest lap. And we have apparently had a bit of a mess back behind. Let's take a quick look. Looks like there was a series of incidents back behind Jason Starr. Loses it out of the turn. Then a moment later, Harry Volsmere dives to the inside. Oh, he pushes a little bit wide into Alderton. And watching Alderton from the blimp. Well, nope, too many trees. There's Alderton on the outside. Several drivers end up piling in. Harry goes a little bit wide, turns Alderton, and then Mike Marshall catches a piece of it as well. Adam Barker still in control with Garmin in second. Simon Zierk in third, but Sorensen practically pushing him around the track. Ellis back in fifth, about 1.8 seconds behind Nick. Nick does have the fastest lap the last 2 times by. Rudolph Gunther back in 6th with Yannick on him in 7th. Brandon Banks in 8th and holy cow! That was a hard lick. Brandon Banks sends it through that first chicane, loses grip, bounces off the inside, and wow, Harry, nothing he could do. Take a look at this from another angle. Both of these cars now on pit road. Harry has no time to react and smacks into him and then the wall. Brandon and Harry both ended up having to tow in for significant damage. Both of them will get repaired, hopefully come back out. Sorensen has picked up a slowdown. First slowdown of race 2 has allowed Ellis to close back up. Meanwhile, Simon is right on Garmy's back bumper. And Adam Barker is pulling away. His lead now almost 2.9 seconds. Ellis is back on Nick's bumper. Simon pulled a little bit of a gap. Ellis has a little bit of a run. Thomas Alderton is back out on track, as is Byron Debelow and Roman Berg. Jason Starr also had an issue earlier. He is back out. Mike Doling, Brandon Banks, and Harry Volsmere all sit on pit road. And it appears Bradley Lovings is out early. Hey, good morning, Elf. a sudden, we have multiple slowdowns behind Rudolph Gunther, Yannick Gunther, Jason Leonard. All three picked up a slowdown through the first sector. And it looked like Jason also gave the wall a kiss. And Harry Volsmere had rolled off pit road but is back in. Harry had just come back out after that big hit. And wow, just pulled it over. Rudolph Gunther has just set the fastest lap so far, 118.77. Wow, we've got several cars coming in. Jason Leonard and Mike Marshall had a problem a moment ago. Jason Leonard, Brandon Banks coming back in. Let's see what happened. There's Jason. A little bit, oh, he overshoots the turn. Mike able to stop without getting into him. Looked like Jason already had some front end damage, probably affecting the handling. With the early chaos, Adam Barker already about to be in lap traffic. However, he does have a 4.7 second lead on David Garman, Simon Zier, and Nick Sorensen. Ellis still lurking back behind. Second through sixth place, separated by less than a second at the moment. Ellis doesn't appear to have the same straight line speed unless he's in the slipstream of the cars ahead. But man, he is flying through the turns. And Byron Devereaux has had a problem. All right, there's Byron. Has had a quiet second race. Just got caught up a couple of times. But oh no, he tapped the grass right as he got onto the brakes and just does a little drift through the final turn. Thomas Alderton picked up a slowdown through the first sector. Byron Devereaux still going after his incident. Suleiman Khan has just avoided a lot of chaos and moved up 8 spots into 9th. Mike Marshall has managed to move up 8 spots into 8th. And Yannick Gunther up 8 spots into 7th. Adam Barker, meanwhile, out front by 5.3 seconds. Garmin, Simon, and Sorensen all right there, as is Ellis. And they're about to be into lap traffic. Rudolph Gunther only 3.8 seconds behind that group. And he did just set the fastest lap of the race. He is closing in quickly. At Ford just ahead, Jason Starr about to be lap traffic for this four-car battle. He pulls over. Rudolph continuing to close in on Ellis. And man, we saw earlier, Nick Sorensen was practically pushing Simon around the track. Now he's got Ellis on his bumper, almost pushing him around the track. And Ellis is going to make the move. Wow. That was close as they took the exit of the turn. Now Ellis has the inside. Nick fighting back on the outside. It's a drag race down the straight. Nick had a little more room out of the turn, giving him an advantage. And Nick holds on to fourth for the moment. That battle behind gave Garmin a couple of car lengths of breathing room. Simon's still there, also got some breathing room. But now Sorensen closing back in. Adam Barker still out front, but Garmin closed the gap a little bit, now down to 5 1/4. As last time by, Garmin about a half second faster than Barker. And Ellis goes for it again. This time he's got it. Ellis now to fourth and sets his sights on Simon's ear. Adam Barker has found his rhythm again, starting to pull away. His lead now 5.9 seconds. Garmin still holds on to second, but Simon closing in, and Ellis is closing in on him. And it has been a wild first 20 minutes of this race. Everybody's trying to settle into the rhythm, but there's been enough chaos that some drivers just not able to. You heard Sorensen say after race one, it's all about keeping the car in one piece. And David Garmin in trouble. He's got a lap car ahead, and Simon, Ellis, and Nick right back to him. Jason Leonard just ahead. Jason goes wide. Ellis drifts it. That was a close one for Ellis as he went by. Had to stop the brakes. Got into a little bit of a drift, but did manage to save it. Well, we did say during pre-race, street circuits have a tendency to get a bit wild. This is not disappointed. Adam Barker continues to pull away. His lead now almost 6.5 seconds over Gourmets. Ellis has got right to Simon's back bumper, looking for an opportunity. Rudolph Gunther is inching closer and closer every lap, and Suleiman Khan is the first driver in for his stop. Oh, he has pulled it in and parked. No, that is his pit stall. It is a bit of a shorter pit road as Brandon Banks has had a problem. There's Brandon on the power. Oh, man. Let's take a different angle of that one. I thought he was going to be okay, just bounce off the wall, but he got hooked on something. Bounces off one wall into another. What a hit. Nick Sorensen did just set the fastest lap of the race, so follow Ellis is around. That's going to be a huge setback. Ellis has slipped back into 7th, and Sorensen is coming to pit road. Let's take a look at Ellis's incident. He was trying to set up a move on Simon, just got too much of the sausage on exit on the power and snaps around. Ellis did bring it in to pit road. Nick Sorensen on his way back out. Sadly, Wessel, you are right. After winning race 1, Ellis was in the top 5 battle. And more importantly, was keeping Sorensen in his mirror. But now Ellis all the way back to 7th. He has got a lot of ground to make up. Nick currently runs in 6th. Yannick now to 5th. And Gorman is coming in. Surprised to see the drivers coming in right at the halfway point. Looks like fuel stops are running 13 to 15 seconds. And overall time on pit road, this is a big indicator, about 37 to 38 seconds from the time you hit pit road to the time you get back out. But Gourmet lost a lot of time on pit road. He had an 18.8 second stop. was on pit road for almost 44 seconds, about 6 seconds slower than the previous slowest stop. Simon Zierk is giving up second. He is coming in. Adam Barker going to stretch it at least one more lap. Really surprised to see so many drivers in this early. Usually see these guys stretch that fuel window as far as possible. Jason Leonard has had a problem behind. There's Jason coming into that first chicane. Just hits it wrong and gets the wall. And ends up in the other wall. And Adam continuing to stay out. The top three are the only ones that have not been in. Adam Barker, Rudolph Gunther, Yannick Gunther. I stand corrected. Mike Marshall in 8th has not been in yet. Thomas Alderton starting to make up some ground in 9th. Suleiman Khan still on track in 10th, up 7 spots despite his earlier issue. And he also has a cannon on the side of his car, which I gotta say is pretty cool. Jason Leonard has brought his car to pit road. And Ellis Johnson has just set the fastest lap as he battles with Garmin for 6th. And Ellis takes it. And that long pit stop really hurt David Garmin. Adam Barker continuing to stay out, as do both members of Team Gunther. This is Adam Barker's first race of the season. Will he return to victory lane this morning? Now Nick Sorensen has set the fastest lap. Ellis and Nick just keep getting faster and trading the fastest lap back and forth. Ellis's fastest lap, 118.66. Nick Sorensen a moment ago, 118.52. But Ellis has just picked up a slowdown. Oh, and gave the wall a little kiss. He has cleared his slowdown now, but Garmin is right back on his bumper. And man, some sections of this track are wide enough to do battle, but some are so tight. The top three still have not been into pit road. Adam trying to open up as much of a gap as possible. His lead now right at 10 seconds. Yannick Gunther in third, about 7 seconds behind Opa, but he is closing the gap. Rudolph continued to stay out this time as well. I'm also surprised how far Mike Marshall has been able to stretch his fuel. That Mercedes, one of the most powerful GT3s. I'm betting it's not gentle on fuel. Adam's lead holds right now at 10 seconds, almost exactly. Rudolph still has second. Yannick in third. Nick Sorensen in fourth. Simon Zierk in fifth. Ellis back in sixth. Garmin holds on in second. Mike Marshall in eighth. Thomas Alderton in ninth, and Suleiman Khan in 10th. Ellis is quickly reeling in. Yannick Gunther is coming in. Ellis is quickly reeling in Simon Zierk. But he is currently about 16.2 seconds behind Sorensen. Adam Barker currently 36.8 seconds ahead of Nick Sorensen. The top two have not been in. Sorensen is the first driver to have completed stops. He's the highest running one. And time on pit road so far this morning, the average is right around 37 seconds, as Gourmets has had a problem. There's Gorman coming through the first chicane, loses the back end. Wow, kisses one wall, then the other. And Rudolph Gunther has brought his car in. Hey, good morning, Joe. Barker has run out of fuel. Wow. Adam Barker was trying to open up that big lead, but stayed out one lap too many. All right, let's dial up his in-car camera. Yep, that is exactly what happened. Out of fuel, no power. Adam did have to tow it in. That is going to cost him a lot of time. He is losing ground as Mike Marshall completes his stop. It looked like the 9-time champ was on his way back to victory lane. So Nick Sorensen now has the lead. Rudolph in second. Simon in third. Yannick Gunther in fourth. Ellis holds on to fifth. Garmin back in sixth. Mike Marshall in seventh. Mike currently up 9 spots. Thomas Alderton now up to 8th. Suleiman Khan in 9th. You are very welcome, Joe. Adam Barker currently in 10th, still on pit road. All right, Adam is back out on track. Currently scored in 7th. We'll keep an eye on that as the next lap cycles by. Hey, good morning, Tina. Rudolph Gunther in second is closing in just a little bit on Sorensen, but he is still sitting about 7 seconds back with just under 13 minutes to go. Thomas Alderton had that early incident, but is fighting back as well. Up to 10th and trying to close in on Suleiman. Ellis Johnson won race 1. He came into the morning second in points behind Sorensen. That win helped close that gap, but man, that spin here in race 2 was a huge setback. Nick would have to make a big mistake here, and you've been watching for a while, you know, Nick does not often make mistakes. Folks, we do have an interesting question. We'd love to hear your comments. We do have the ability to listen in to the drivers during the race. However, these guys are often cracking jokes and using adult language. I am curious how much we did an uncensored race broadcast many years ago. You can find it on our YouTube channel. How many would like us to do that again with NSS? Nick Sorensen's lead holds at about 6.9 seconds over Rudolph. Simon Zierk, Yannick Gunther, Ellis Johnson on nose to tail. David Garman in 6, about 30 seconds behind this battle. Man, Simon has his hands full here. Ellis sitting back there has been one of the fastest cars all morning long. Yannick awful fast as well, and that Porsche has a little bit of an advantage through the turns. Ellis is looking for a move. Ellis has made his attack quite often. Coming out of this chicane, setting up for the next turn. Will he try it again here? Couldn't quite get it set up that time. But he has given Yannick absolutely no breathing room. Simon does have a bit of an advantage. That BMW a hair wider as here we go. Yannick's looking in. Look like Yannick may have kissed the wall now. Ellis looks in. Side by side, can Ellis power out? Dead even coming out of that turn. The Porsche has the advantage, but now Ellis to the inside. Wow. Yannick really sent it deep to hold on. Ellis is going to try it again. Couldn't get there out of the final turn. Wow. Ellis and Yannick both right on the edge coming through the chicane. Ellis trying to set up to the, holy cow, that was close. You know, this track, just 2.01 miles, only 14 turns. But man, the way these guys are going at it, seems like there is a lot more turns out there. Both Ellis and Yannick still looking for an opening. Oh, Simon gets squirrely out of the final turn. Yannick makes the move. Oh! Yannick picks up a slowdown, collides, Ellis straightens him back out. No! Well, Simon gets to pull away. Yannick has problems. All right, there's Yannick in the Porsche. Him and Ellis get together. Ellis almost got him straightened back out. See if we can dial up. Ellis is on board. There was the bump through the chicane. Ouch. It did notice through that first part of the chicane, Yannick had picked up a slowdown. He cut that chicane a little weird, getting that slowdown, but it also unsettled the Porsche. just one of those wild racing incidents that happens on road circuits. Folks, don't forget, tonight at 9:30 Eastern, the SMRX Series is back. Non-points racing tonight. They are having the clash to open the season, and they're going to 5 flags. You know it's going to get exciting and a little bit bumpy when they go short track racing. A lot of new seasons starting soon as well. C12 Motorsports will be back in a few weeks, and they will be running the 87s this season. And don't worry, on our nights off this week when we don't have races, we will have streams to entertain you, including the Unicorn being a mafia person. If you missed that the other night, go watch it on YouTube. It is entertaining, to say the least. Nick Sorensen's lead holds at about 6.7 seconds over Rudolph. Simon in third. Ellis currently in fourth is right back to Simon. Garmin has fought his way back up to fifth. Not only that, he has closed the gap on Ellis a bit. He was almost 32 seconds behind after pit stops. Now 26 and a half. Adam Barker back in sixth. He is on the, he is on the march after losing a lot of ground. Adam 4.7 seconds behind David. Mike Marshall in seventh of 9 spots as Ellis is battling for third. Ellis and Simon side by side into the chicane. Simon backs out. And Ellis back on the podium for the moment. Mike Marshall of 9 spots into 7th. Suleiman of 9 spots into 8th. It is worth noting, Nick Sorensen leads the overall championship points. Ellis Johnson sits second in overall points, but is leading the amateur division. And we will post the points after today's race on Facebook later today. We also made a post the other day for anybody looking for a team or driver for the 24 Hours of Daytona. There is a post to help you find somebody. And rumor has it the Conliff Esports team will be back in 2026, and they will be starting at Daytona. Rudolph Gunther still in second, 6.5 seconds behind Sorensen. Ellis in third at the moment is faster than both of them, but still 25 seconds out of the lead. And here comes Nick Sorensen to pick up the white flag. One more time around for him. Simon Zierk back in fourth, Army in fifth, still closing in. But Adam Barker, 2.2 seconds behind Gourmet. Does look like Barker has pushed that Audi to the limit. Looks like Hello Kitty a little banged up. Nick Sorensen heads toward the final turn. A dominant run again this week, extending his points lead. Nick Sorensen will win race 2 at Adelaide. Rudolph Gunther holds on for second. And Ellis Johnson has a big comeback after his mid-race spin to come home in third and drive through the grass. Let's talk to our top three, starting with Ellis. Ellis, one mistake. You're still on the podium, but that one mistake, that's got to be a bit heartbreaking.
Yeah, I thought I had it. That's unfortunate. I really feel bad for Yannick though. He had a really, we had a really good fight.
You guys definitely did, and it was a close battle coming through the chicane. He ended up having to cut it a little bit, which actually I think unsettled the car and sent it into you. But man, still a heck of a battle. And this race goes another 10 minutes. You probably end up in second. You're faster than the top two.
It was fun. They were really fast. Nick was just way faster, I think, overall. We're going to review that a little later. We were all having fun. Overall, good race. I'll take it.
Well, man, a great finish. Tell everybody to stick around. I want to talk to him here in a minute.
Okay.
All right, Rudolph Gunther coming home in second. Rudolph, 2 races, 2 podiums. It's been a good morning.
Yeah, I'm happy. Thank you, Doug. It was a great race. I made one big mistake, which cost me at least 10-15 seconds when I overshoot the corner to catch Simon. But well, happens, and still second place is good.
Man, it has been a great start to the season. It's great to see you having such a great run, buddy. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Doug.
And finally, our winner, Nick Sorensen. Nick, I know it's only 3 races into the season, but man, you're on a tear and extending your points lead every race.
Oh, what a good race today. Some tight battles at the beginning there. And after the pit stop, I was just, really, really consistent there. I'm happy with this.
A few close calls throughout the race. Obviously, some lap traffic to navigate through, which was problematic for some drivers this morning, but man, it didn't seem like anything really fazed you.
Oh, yeah. Everyone in the race did great today. There were some really good drivers. Rudolph, Adam was good the whole race. I'm not sure why he fell off, but it was a good. I'm really, really stoked about today with the 2 and then a 1 finish.
Well, man, you definitely deserve to be one heck of a race and one heck of a win. Congratulations, buddy.
All right, thanks a lot.
Nick Sorensen gets the win, folks. Don't forget tonight, 9:30 Eastern, we do have SMR back on track, and it's going to be a wild one. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Hope y'all had as much fun as we did. Man, what a morning, what a track. Thank you guys so much, and have a great day, y'all.